A group of elderly men pulled off a multi-million-dollar burglary and embarrassed one of London's most secure vaults. This is the story of the Hatton Garden heist. In April 2015, during the Easter holiday weekend, a group of experienced criminals targeted Hatton Garden, London's famous jewelry district. Beneath one of the buildings was a secure vault filled with valuables belonging to jewelers, business owners, and wealthy clients. It was considered one of the safest places to store precious items, but the thieves had spent weeks planning. Late at night, they entered the building and made their way toward the underground vault. Standing between them and millions of dollars was a thick, reinforced concrete wall designed to stop intruders. Most people would have given up. They didn't. Using powerful drilling equipment, the gang slowly cut through the wall and gained access to the vault. Once inside, they opened dozens of safety deposit boxes and filled bags with gold, cash, diamonds, and expensive jewelry. When the holiday ended and owners returned to check their boxes, they couldn't believe what they were seeing. Their valuables were gone. The burglary quickly became one of the biggest crime stories in Britain. Detectives launched a massive investigation, piecing together clues from security cameras, phone records, and surveillance operations. Then came the biggest surprise. Many of the suspects were older career criminals, some in their 60s and 70s. Several members were eventually arrested and sent to prison, but a large amount of the stolen treasure was never recovered. More than a decade later, the Hatton Garden heist is still remembered as one of the most daring and unbelievable burglaries in British history.
In 1990, two men disguised as police officers walked into a museum in Boston and carried out what would become the greatest art heist in history. The target was the Isabella Stewart Gardner Museum, a famous museum filled with priceless artworks from some of the world's greatest artists. Late that night, the two men convinced museum security guards to let them inside by pretending they were responding to a disturbance call. But the moment they entered, everything changed. The fake officers tied up the guards, taped their mouths shut, and spent over an hour inside the museum stealing valuable artwork. By the time they left, 13 pieces of art had disappeared, including works connected to artists like Rembrandt and Johannes Vermeer. The stolen art was worth hundreds of millions of dollars. And then came the biggest mystery of all. The thieves vanished without a trace. For decades, investigators searched for the missing paintings, chased leads connected to organized crime, and offered massive rewards. But despite one of the largest investigations in FBI history, the stolen artwork has never been recovered. Even today, the empty frames still hang inside the museum as a reminder of the night one of the world's greatest unsolved robberies took place.
In the middle of the night, a train full of money suddenly stopped in the darkness. No station, no passengers waiting, just a gang of robbers ready to make history. In 1963, a Royal Mail train was traveling from Glasgow to London, carrying bags filled with cash. To most people, it was just another mail train, but to one criminal gang, it was the perfect target. They had studied the route. They knew where the money would be, and they had a plan to stop the train before it reached London. Then, near a quiet bridge, everything changed. The robbers tampered with the railway signal, forcing the train to stop. Once it did, they moved in quickly, took control, and began unloading the money from the mail carriage into waiting vehicles. In a short time, they escaped with around £2.6 million, a fortune in 1963. For a moment, it looked like the perfect crime, but the gang made mistakes. Police found clues, fingerprints, and evidence at their hideout. The robbers had used a farmhouse after the robbery, and that farmhouse became one of the keys to solving the case. Soon, many of the gang members were arrested and sent to prison. Some became infamous, and one robber, Ronnie Biggs, escaped and spent years on the run. The Great Train Robbery became one of Britain's most legendary crimes. But the lesson was clear. You can stop a train, steal the money, and vanish into the night. But if you leave a trail, history will still catch up with you. For more unbelievable real-life heists and mysteries, the bottle looked normal, the medicine looked safe. But inside some capsules was a hidden danger that no one could see. In 1982, people in the Chicago area began dying after taking Tylenol, one of the most trusted pain relievers in America. At first, families, doctors, and police did not understand what was happening. It looked like a medical mystery. Then investigators made a terrifying discovery. Some Tylenol bottles had been tampered with after reaching store shelves. The capsules had been secretly poisoned, and innocent people had bought them thinking they were safe. Panic spread fast. Stores pulled Tylenol from the shelves. Police warned the public not to use the product. Johnson & Johnson recalled millions of bottles across the country, even though it cost the company a huge amount of money. The company had one message: protecting people mattered more than protecting sales. But the person responsible was never convicted for the murders. The case became one of America's most disturbing unsolved crimes. Still, the tragedy changed the world. After the Tylenol murders, medicine packaging was never the same again. Tamper-resistant seals, safety caps, and protective packaging became the new standard, so customers could quickly see if something had been opened or changed. Today, every time you open medicine and see a safety seal, you are seeing part of the legacy of what happened in 1982. The Tylenol murders proved one painful truth. Trust can be broken in seconds, but safety must be protected before anything goes wrong. For more unbelievable real-life heists and mysteries,